Good morning. It's a little tilty, sorry about that. Alrighty, welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the South Hills, also known as Sunnyhill. We're delighted that you could join us for this service. Our mission at Sunnyhill is to create a more just and compassionate community within and beyond our walls. My name is Ella McGaw, and I serve as a worship associate for this congregation. If you're a newcomer or visitor to us, please go to sunnyhill.org and click on the button that says New to Sunnyhill to receive more information about our congregation and to receive our weekly email newsletter. Also, if you'd like to be greeted as a newcomer after the service, please take a red mug, and members will seek you out to make sure you are warmly welcomed. If you're joining us online today, please say hello or good morning in the comments on Facebook or YouTube. We'd like to hear from you and extend a welcome to you as well. For all those who are here in person, a gentle reminder, please silence your cell phones and other electronic devices so that we can enjoy the service uninterrupted by buzzing or ringing. Today's service is titled Accidental Generosity. Acts of generosity, even those that are incidental or accidental, can trigger a chain reaction of unselfishness that reaches far beyond the original act. How can we harness the power of viral generosity to build a more just and compassionate community within and beyond our walls? Our opening words were written by Carl Seberg. Let there be joy in our coming together this morning. Let there be truth heard in the words we speak and the songs we sing. Let there be help and healing for our disharmony and despair. Let there be silence for the voice within us and beyond us. Let there be joy in our coming together. Please join me in saying the words to light our chalice. Within the heart of the flower, the fountain of beauty, within the heart of the community, a fire that warms and dances, within the heart of each of us, a spark of the spirit of life.
Good morning. Please rise and body your spirit to join in singing our opening hymn. Please be seated.
Good morning, friends. It's almost afternoon. Can you imagine if I had to say good afternoon, friends? That would be so strange. All right, if any kiddos are present, you want to come up for our time for all ages? Now's our chance. Hello, scouting friends. Hello, hello. All righty. Did y'all have a chance to sleep in a little bit this morning? Yeah? A little bit? All right, let's get started. Once upon a time, there was a great famine. That means that there's not enough food for everyone to eat. The people in one small village didn't have enough to eat, and definitely not enough to store away for the winter. They were all so worried that their families would go hungry and that they hid the small amounts of food they did have, even from their friends and neighbors. One day, a traveler came into the village. He asked the different people he met about finding a place to eat and sleep for the night. There's not a bite to eat in the whole country, they told him. You better keep moving on. Oh, I have everything I need, he said. In fact, I would like to make some stone soup to share with all of you. Stone soup. He pulled a big black cooking pot from his wagon. He filled it with water and built a fire under it. Then he reached slowly into his knapsack. While several villagers watched, he pulled a plain gray stone from a cloth bag and dropped it into the water. Word traveled through the village about the traveler and his magic stone. Friends, what do you think? Do you think that you can make a soup from stones?
No.
Have you ever eaten stone soup before?
Yeah, but it wasn't made out of stone.
Okay, interesting. Let's see where this goes.
It's very good.
It is? Okay, well, we've got promise then. Word traveled through the village about this traveler and his magic stone. Folks started to surround him to see how he could possibly make a soup from it. As more villagers gathered, the traveler sniffed the stone soup and licked his lips. The traveler said aloud to himself, I do like some tasty stone soup. Of course, stone soup with cabbage is even better. Soon, a villager ran from his house into the village square, holding a big head of cabbage. I have this cabbage from my garden, he said as he held it out for the traveler. Fantastic, cried the traveler. The traveler cut up the cabbage and added it to the pot. You know, I once had stone soup with cabbage and a bit of beef. It was delicious. The butcher said he thought he could find some beef scraps. As he ran back to his shop, other villagers offered bits of vegetables from their own gardens. Potatoes, onions, carrots, celery. Soon the big black pot was simmering and steaming. When the soup was ready, everyone in the village ate a hearty bowl. It was delicious. Their bellies were full, and boy, were they content. The villagers offered the traveler money and other treasures for that magic stone, but he refused to sell it. He also had many offers for a bed to sleep on that night. The next day, he traveled on his way. The impact he had on that village remained. From that day forward, the villagers learned that even when times seemed really tough, they could create something wonderful when they worked together. They learned that though each individual might only have something small to offer, when they combined it with the gifts of their neighbors and friends, there was the potential for something really spectacular. The end. And with that, we will go to our religious education classes.
Go, may joy surround you as you go. Go in peace. Know our love is with you always as you go, as you go. As you go, may joy surround you as you go. Go in peace. Know our love is with you always as you go.
So the song that you're all about to sing with me was written by Lisa G. Littlebird, who's an amazing community singing organizer. And she wrote this song in a moment that was really difficult for her, where she was just like struggling to find some truth that she could believe in at one of these darkest moments. Give me that. I have received the benefit of 1,000 acts of love and Try that with me.
I have received the benefit of 1,000 acts of love and kindness in my life.
Let's do it again.
I have received the benefit of 1,000 acts of love and kindness in my
You hold that a really long time. Yeah. Again.
I have received the benefit of 1,000 acts of love and kindness in my life.
Jim's going to keep it going. Follow me.
I have received the benefit of 1,000 acts of love and kindness in my life.
Try it with me.
I have received the benefit of 1,000 acts of love and kindness in my life. I have received the benefit of 1,000 acts of love and kindness in my life. I have received the benefit of 1,000 acts of love and kindness in my life.
Let's just repeat this first line.
I have received the benefit
That again.
of 1,000. Received the benefit.
Again.
I have received the benefit.
Once more.
I have received the benefit.
Thank you.
This is a time in our service where we share joys and sorrows that have been submitted by members of the congregation. Those joys and sorrows can be submitted online from our website or in person by filling out a form that you can find in our fellowship hall. After each joy or sorrow that I share, please respond by saying, "We hold you in our hearts." Just have a couple today. One was submitted by the caring team, a joy and a concern. Sunnyhill member Valerie Powell is doing better at Bethel Park Rehabilitation Center, and she would love to have visitors for anyone who's interested. To Valerie and her family, we hold you in our hearts. Another sorrow that I want to name is I know that many of us are very concerned and closely following events in the Middle East as they unfold. One of the great challenges of this time is sometimes even prayers for peace can be misconstrued as a political stand of some kind or another. However, I do pray for peace, and I hold in my thoughts always everyone who is directly affected by violence and acts of war. For all those who are affected by war as it unfolds, we hold you in our hearts. The song that we're about to sing as our meditation hymn is Kosi Ravaya, which means my cup overflows. As we sing this song, please join in as you get the hang of it. And anyone who is moved to do so, please come forward, light a candle, place it in the sand, and then return to your seats. Please join me in the spirit of meditation or prayer. We pause for a moment of stillness to consider who we are and where we are in our lives, to consider the places where we are whole and the places where we are broken, to consider the joys and sorrows, the hopes and regrets, the beginnings and endings that comprise our lives. As we pause, we are aware that sometimes it all feels like too much. Too much to think about, too much to do, too much to feel, just too much. And yet we are aware of how much we have to be grateful for. The love of friends and family, the beauty of the world, the rain that soothes and the sun that warms, music and laughter, breezes and breathing, blessing upon blessing upon blessing. We pause now for a moment of silence as we consider all these things and more. In the words of the psalmist, Kosi Revaya, my cup overflows. Our cup overflows with life, with loss, with love, with worries, with wonder. Let us enter into the ebb and flow of life in the spirit of peace and the love that calls us toward union with all. Amen. We've moved into the harvest time of the year, the time when the abundance and generosity of the natural world surrounds us. Fresh, locally grown apples appear in greater numbers at roadside stands and in grocery stores. The last tomatoes in our gardens are brought in before the first frost appears. And here at Sunnyhill, thousands of pumpkins will appear on our front lawn today. A fittingly plump and overflowing physical manifestation of the abundance and bounty of nature. And this time of year we share soup with one another as we did last night, which is such a great celebration of autumnal abundance and sharing nature's bounty with one another. One of my favorite poems beautifully articulates the ways in which we might experience the generosity of the natural world. This poem by Patricia Monahan is titled, Things to Believe in. Trees, in general, oaks especially, bur oaks that survive fire in particular, and the generosity of apples. Seeds, all of them, carrots like dust, winged maple, doubled beet, peach kernel, the inevitability of change, frog song in spring, cattle lowing on the farm across the hill, the melodies of sad old songs, comfort of savory soup, sweet iced fruit, the aroma of yeast, a friend's voice, hard work, seasons, bedrock, lilacs, moon shadows under the ash grove, something breaking through. That phrase, the generosity of apples, gets me every time I read this poem, as does the phrase, something breaking through. Because if we are attentive enough, there is always something breaking through, both in the natural world and in our own lives. There's always something that is trying to make itself known that might change our thoughts and feelings, and that might even change the course of our lives. Experiencing the generosity of apples calls for a generous response from each of us. When we begin to appreciate the abundance of nature and the many ways generosity is manifested all around us, the appropriate response is to be generous ourselves. In other words, the response to generosity is generosity. In this way, generosity is something that can become viral in the best sense of the word. And the amazing thing is that generosity is so infectious that even accidental acts of generosity can spread from person to person with astounding results. A few months ago, I read an article in the Washington Post written by Sidney Page that describes a remarkable story of accidental generosity and its amazingly generous aftermath. What follows is an abbreviated version of that newspaper article. A California man and his wife had recently moved into a new apartment building in San Francisco when they met a neighbor who was a Hindu priest. The priest, Jeff Doonan, told the man about an organization he volunteered for called Bangladesh Relief, which provides food, clothing, and essential supplies to underprivileged people in northern Bangladesh. The man, whose name is Michael, decided to do the neighborly thing and donate to Doonan's GoFundMe campaign for Bangladesh Relief, and settled on giving $150, thinking that was a reasonable amount for him to give. Shortly after making his donation on GoFundMe, though, Michael received a notification from his credit card company warning him of a suspiciously large transaction. He opened a text message which alerted him to a $15,041 charge from GoFundMe. It took him a few minutes, but he soon realized what had happened. Michael's credit card started with 4 and 1. Clearly, he said, he accidentally began typing his credit card information while his cursor was still in the donation box. So rather than 150, he typed in 15041, which was read as $15,041. Michael called GoFundMe's support line in a panic and explained the mistaken donation. To his relief, he was told that he would be refunded for the mishap within 3 to 7 business days. Still, there was a major complication. The $15,000 donation which, by the way, more than doubled the total amount raised for the charity up to that point, would remain on the GoFundMe page until the refund was processed. Michael said that he recalled saying at the time, "I think that might be a problem," adding that he planned to call his neighbor Doonan to explain, but before he had the chance to do that, he began receiving Facebook notifications and messages from Shoag Chandra, the charity's Bangladesh-based program manager, thanking him profusely for his substantial donation. The man sent me a video of himself from Bangladesh surrounded by dozens of impoverished and hungry people holding bags of food, thanking me by name, Michael said. Doonan and his colleagues in Bangladesh were blown away by this sizable donation, which was far beyond anything they had received in the past. "We were floored," said Doonan, who became involved with the charity 3 years ago. Looking through the photos of people holding thank you signs that had his name on them, Michael's heart sank a little bit. He felt terrible that he had to revoke his hefty donation. And even though he still intended to contribute the $150 he had originally planned to give, he wanted to offer more. "I felt so bad about the mistake I made," said Michael. "I was definitely stressing about it." So once his original contribution was refunded, he decided to donate $1,500. Doonan was understanding about the accident and grateful for Michael's still significant donation, which he told him would make a meaningful impact. The charity's leaders in Bangladesh, too, were thankful for Michael's revised donation. Although Michael had told family and friends about this particular typo in the months that followed the mishap, he decided to share the saga more publicly on social media after Doonan recently told him that the organization was desperately in need of funds. Michael said, "The least I could do was to take the time to post this story online and see if I can inspire other people to donate to this cause." Little did he know, though, that the story would be seen far and wide, garnering more than $120,000 for Bangladesh relief in the span of only a couple of weeks, about 8 times Michael's original mistaken donation. As Michael's post gained momentum on various social media sites, donations to a new GoFundMe campaign poured in. According to Doonan, more than 3,700 people have contributed because of Michael's post. "We're astonished that there are this many people that have the heart to share what they can," said Doonan. "We've had a wave of support that has superseded anything we've attempted so far." Now, Bangladesh Relief is planning to expand its services beyond food relief, clothing, and supplies to include medication for those in need. The funds will also go towards supporting local orphans. Michael said he has been stunned by the ongoing outpouring of support. "Never in my wildest dreams did I imagine this reaction," he said. "People can be amazing when they come together for something like this." I love that story. What began as a moderately generous $150 donation ended up resulting in what's now hundreds of thousands of dollars raised for this cause. So much support that it transformed the organization and the impact that they were able to have. So when you complete your pledge form for Sunnyhill, if a typo were to occur, If, for example, there were a couple of extra digits on the end of your pledge, who knows what kind of difference it might make. While we are not counting on typos, we are counting on something like a viral sense of generosity in order to support the work of this congregation. A couple of weeks ago, we celebrated Sunnyhill's Founders Day, honoring the foresight and the hard work of those who created this church from scratch, who persevered, who made sacrifices, who kept the torch burning even in the darkest of times so that this church might not only survive but thrive. And it is thriving. Sunnyhill is a place where people come who may never have felt welcomed, included, and valued in any other religious community or even in their own families. Sunnyhill is a place where we practice compassion in everything that we do. It is a place where we work for justice, where we organize our resources and our power to make a difference in our community and in our world. Sunnyhill is a place where our children and youth learn how to be loving and responsible human beings. A place where our values are not just talked about, but lived and celebrated. Some of our UU congregations have become, to put it perhaps a little too bluntly, places where old liberals come to die. I don't like describing things that way, but it happens to be the truth in some instances. Many congregations of all denominations are perishing, and their pastors are essentially hospice chaplains. God knows that hospice chaplains do important work, sacred work, even holy work. But if that's the only work that is occurring in a congregation, there is something wrong. Sunnyhill is not a dying congregation. It is a living, breathing, loving, life-giving force for good in our world. We care for and honor everyone, certainly those among us who need special care, including those of us who grow frail each year. But our mission is forward-facing. It is about those who will come after us. It is about the world that we are building together here and now. When you do make a pledge to Sunnyhill, you are supporting our mission to create a more just and compassionate community within and beyond our walls. Every part of that mission depends upon generosity. It depends on our response to the generosity of the natural world being appropriately generous. It depends on our ability to transform even our mistakes into acts of generosity that might have a positive impact that exceeds even our wildest dreams. We've been putting together Sunnyhill's budget for the coming year. And I will say that this coming year will be another year of stretching for this congregation, stretching to do more to fulfill our mission and stretching to come up with the funding needed to do that work well. Everything costs more now than it did pre-COVID, as I'm sure all of you are well aware. In addition, we want to make sure that we are compensating our staff fairly. Bethany's position, if we can afford it, will go from 30 to 40 paid hours per week, which is probably actually about what she is currently working. And her job title will change from membership director to director of congregational life to more accurately reflect her current role in the congregation. Jen's compensation as our Director of Religious Education needs to increase to reflect her recent achievement of becoming a credentialed religious educator, something that she's been working on for the last 3 or 4 years. I know this congregation to be generous, and I'm pretty sure that all of you want to see these changes take place. Pretty sure that all of you want to see our staff fairly compensated so that we as a congregation are better able to do the work of creating a more just and compassionate community. But to get there, we will have to work at it, and we will have to stretch a bit. I hope and pray that we will strive to become more generous people in all that we do, accidentally or intentionally, in our pursuit of bringing into this beautiful, wounded world more compassion and more justice. May it be so. Amen.
Please rise again upon your spirit to sing When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we tell a story from deep inside, and we listen with a longing mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we share the silence of secret space, and the God's words within, and we feel the power of each other's faith, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place. Thank you. Please be seated.
Today happens to be our stewardship campaign kickoff, if you haven't already figured that out. To those of you who are visitors, we don't always talk about money this much. In fact, we rarely do. But this is the start of our pledge campaign to support Sunnyhill's budget for 2024. In place of our usual offering today, we're going to ask you to take a moment now to pledge. You can scan the QR code that's on the screen, which takes you straight to the pledging site, or visit sunnyhill.org and click on the button that says Pledge 2024. And we're going to take about 5 minutes to do that. If there's anyone that needs a paper form, please raise your hands and one of our ushers will bring that forward to you. Yeah, you can raise your hands now, and ushers, you can begin distributing those. And thank you, everyone, for your generosity. For those of you that are filling out paper forms, by the way, you can drop it off on your way out in the basket next to where the ushers stand, just so you know. All right, so everything is happening all at once today. This is our first Sunday of going to 2 services. We have a slightly different configuration, as some of you may have noticed today. I'm told that our pumpkins have arrived. The truck is sitting in the parking lot and people are starting to unload the pumpkins. Anyone who wishes to stay and help, you are strongly encouraged to do so. It usually takes a couple of hours, and then we get it done and move on to the task of then selling those pumpkins, which is another thing that we need some assistance with, and that are still some spots to sign up for that. Also, many of you know longtime Sunnyhill member Peter Conkey. Last week during Joys and Sorrows, we shared that he had been hospitalized. He was only in there very briefly. And he wanted me to let you know that he's fine and that he's hosting his annual bonfire tonight. So anyone that's interested in Peter Conkey's bonfire, and you still have the flyer or need directions, we can help you out. So for now, we will end with these words. In the end, it won't matter how much we have, but how generously we have given. It won't matter how much we know, but rather how well we live. And it won't matter how much we believe, but how deeply we love. Go in peace. If you catch me doing that, just give me a shout.
See how about this.